Hi. So, what happens when you lose your credibility? How do you lose your credibility? If you lose your credibility cheaply, then if you tell me that without any reason people have started misbehaving at you or they don't take you seriously, then the first thing that will come to my mind is this. What? Let us discuss that. This is Sangeeta, leadership growth mentor, and I have seen many potential people losing their credibility at workplace, which is why they are sidelined or they are not taken into reckoning anymore. So what is that? It is the problem of decision making. I have seen. I was wondering for some time why decision making should be such a big problem. Why taking a decision is such a big problem under normal circumstances. Like say, it is not a big thing deciding against. It is not about the country's security system or something. It's not like that. Even under very normal circumstances also people don't take decision. The two scenarios that I have come across is writing a post, writing an email. So today we will be actually discussing about what happens when you don't write an email in time. Of course, when you are angry, you should give yourself time to wait and then write an email, because it is never good to write an email when you are very angry. Actually, you should not speak at that time also. You should not take a decision also at that time. But email is not about writing something in anger. It is about conveying something. It is about bringing something to light. Something is happening which it is not intentional. Many people will not be taking decision because they don't know what is happening. So if you are facing the burnt, then what you should do? You have to write an email. So I have one client of mine who is very scared to write email. And when I confront her why she has been writing so many emails but she is not sending any, what happens? What is happening? Like, see, her problem is getting compounded because it is she who has to deal at workplace as to how to resolve all those problems. Those are happening. So it has become kind of personal confrontation also along with the line manager without her intending that. She has some observation. She has very sharp observation about something, and as it is, people don't like to be told on the face that this is wrong, whatever they have done. She doesn't have, of course, this. I would consider that she doesn't have this etiquette to convey when she doesn't agree. But even then, a timely flagging of something would save everybody from trouble. Like there is some planning that is happening because of her ways of confronting people. She is not taken seriously because that is how she has lost her credibility, and she doesn't flag off things properly at a particular time. When it should be told, she hesitates to tell. Why? Because she thinks that she doesn't come up with the right wording, she doesn't come up with the right expression. All those are her problem. I told her, since last 3 months I have been talking to her. I told her, just don't point fingers at somebody, because the planning is such a thing. It is not a personal thing. So if somebody is doing, and if you have seen that this is a problem, then you can always tell that this should be the practical problem. There are ways to point out that when it will be problematic, right? So that is what she is not able to do. So she loses time. So you lose time when you are not writing, because you have been drafting emails all the time, right? And if you are not sending, then you have lost time. Lost time on what? In drafting emails. So you didn't work. Your work suffered, and you are not sending. So, like say the entire thing is inside your mind. Nobody knows. So if it is inside your mind, then what happens? You are expressing that in some other way. When you are having another discussion, then this thing that is inside your mind, that comes up and you express it. That is not the place where you should be expressing, but because it is there all the time, it comes out. It can't be helped, right? If you are thinking all the time, like say reacting inside your mind, then that reaction will come up, no, during discussion. If you are not very mature, you don't handle your anger within, and then it becomes out of context also. If something else is, suppose something else is being discussed, it is not a planning thing anymore. In the next discussion, suppose it is about the client's flagging off, or client's response, and you start from the old thing, saying that if the planning mistake was there, now you are doing another mistake. Nobody likes to be told like this, right? The context is not there. So it is, if you had a point, then you should have flagged without thinking what the person will think or behave or react, because it is something for the good. You can explain amicably afterwards over telephone that I have sent you an email telling this has been my viewpoint, and this is about my viewpoint, you can consider this. This is all you need to write, right? There is no question of you feeling kind of important and you had found out this mistake and the other person doesn't know how to do planning. All these things are immaterial, so you lose context, right? All these things you are bringing out just to create some kind of problem, some kind of friction, right? The third thing is, when the time is gone, the context changes, and there is this is a dynamic situation in a company, right? In a dynamic situation, things are changing very frequently, and if you are holding on to something where in the past, then nobody has kept all those things in mind. So, like say, if you have not told your point at point number 1, you didn't tell your point at point number 2, then at point number 3, you cannot raise point number 1 or point number 2. And since you haven't raised that point number 1 and point number 2 at the appropriate place, you lose the opportunity to raise the point. And then your point is not established. It becomes kind of another friction, because you are disagreeing to something. Why you are disagreeing? Because you had some apprehension previously from some other point, right? And your problem is not resolved in any case. So you inside your mind, the problem is getting compounded. That is not anybody's fault. The problem getting compounded inside your mind is nobody else's fault but yours. The all the other problems, like say planning mistake and decision making thing, micromanagement, then sidelining somebody, ignoring somebody, these are mistakes. But when you are not telling yourself, you are not able to take that decision to tell your thing at the appropriate time, all those mistakes will be small compared to what you are bringing in right now. It is a bomb that you have kept inside your mind and suddenly you are bursting. And it was unnecessary. It is unnecessary all the time. So, and why this is happening? because you cannot take decision to send an email, a decent email, because you think that you become very, very emotional. And a thing which would, like say, the work culture nowadays, it has become very, very complex. But within that complexity, we need to simplify our situation. Each of us, we should simplify our situation so that we work to our potential, right? So if you are not telling your problems at the appropriate place, you are carrying a burden, and that becomes complication of over complication of something which has been very simple otherwise. So it is you are contributing in making this a simple problem very complex. So these are the 5 things you immediately lose, you immediately create at workplace, which are very, very unnecessary, and then you become somebody who is not trustworthy. So if you have that history in the past, this is the right time when you can make that change. It will not be changed immediately, the impression, it will take some time, but if you start having this changed behavior, then people will definitely notice. They might still hold some kind of grudge against you, but they will be noticing that you have changed a lot. So you have to have that patience, because you have created something which was unnecessary for everybody. It is just because of your emotional problem you have created workplace issues. So these are the 5 points in which we create unnecessary problems for ourselves. We bring unnecessary problem for ourselves and we lose credibility at workplace. So keep this in mind, and we can talk if you it is a systematic way of how to handle our behavior, our attitude, our action, and our perception. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I would say 99% of the time, the problems are because of our perception. It is not real at all. That is what I teach. And please come back to me in case you are thinking that there is some depression happening because of this, and we can talk. Thank you.